Rejoice because Teasing Master Takagi-san is back for yet another season, and in this season we have her going into protective custody and getting a name change to Kubo, where she now teases a boy named Shiraishi instead of Nishikata. I'm joking, of course, but Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible is literally Teasing Master Takagi-san, but maybe a little bit more mature. Just slightly. But no, I just got done with the first 2 episodes of Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, a series that is airing in the winter 2023 anime season. This is my thoughts on the series so far, so let's jump right into it. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible opens up with a boy named Shiraishi, and Shiraishi is pretty much the type of character where nobody knows they're present. Like, they have zero presence to anybody around them. They're pretty much invisible. He literally has to touch somebody before they know he's there. They even joke about the fact that, yes, he does have a perfect attendance, but at the same time, he always has to go to the teacher and like talk to the teacher face to face to let the teacher know that he's been there. He's that bad. But there's one person that can always see Shiraishi, and that is Kubo. Yes, his neighbor in his class. And Kubo seems to be, like the title would lead you to believe, not wanting him to be invisible, constantly interacting with him and constantly doing things to see and test the boundaries of his ability to be invisible. Kind of have fun with him, the idea of like, well, why don't you stand up in the middle of class? See if anybody notices it. If you're invisible, nobody will notice. And sure enough, he kneels onto his seat and then he slowly stands up and then eventually the teacher notices him and tells him to sit down, which is super embarrassing. And that's kind of the idea that you get going forward. It's just all these little kind of gags and comedy beats around Kubo just kind of, yes, sort of teasing Shiraishi, but technically just wanting to interact with him. I made the joke earlier that this is pretty much Teasing Master Takagi-san, but it's a lot more wholesome than overly teasy. With Teasing Master Takagi-san, it was really, really heavy on the teasing aspect because Takagi is sitting here like just doing things to throw off Nishikata and ultimately embarrass him, all because she wants his attention. And it's very puppy love. It's very immature puppy love because the entire time Nishikata is going, oh my gosh, she's out to get me. And yes, while Shiraishi doesn't understand why Kubo is interacting with him, he's like, well, is she teasing me? She's just kind of wasting time. Again, similar to Teasing Master Takagi-san, it's obvious that Kubo likes him. And he doesn't quite get that yet. But again, it's less immature in the idea that it doesn't seem like Shiraishi is outright going, this girl hates me and she's out to get me. Again, it's a little bit more mature. It's like the age group is a little bit higher. So it kind of makes it a little more wholesome in the interactions between the 2 characters. And the skits continue from this point on. You have this point where Kubo's mad at Shiraishi and he doesn't know why. And it's because literally when he was coming to school, she said hi to him and he thought that she was talking about somebody else. So he immediately ignored her, assuming, because this is how it always happens, whenever he thinks somebody's saying hi to him, it's because there's probably somebody behind him. So he just walks away. You have them meeting at the park, and at some point she wants to test her camera to see if it can autofocus on his face, if the camera can actually pick up on his face, and she uses that as a way to sneak in and get a selfie with him, and it's super cute. They have this whole segment where he's trying to go to the bookstore to get the latest in his manga that he really loves reading, because that seems to be his thing that he enjoys. Just go home, read his manga over and over again. He even buys the newest volumes, and yes, the automatic doors don't work for him, so Kubo walking by ends up helping him get in the store, and then decides to start reading the same stuff he does. So you at least get that little element of Kubo liking Shiraishi enough that she's willing to get into his likes. Okay, what is it that you enjoy? Let me look into it. Let me see if it's something I can enjoy too, and we can talk about it together. Which kind of makes Kubo a really likable character in the idea that she's going out of her way to get into his likes and see what is in his head, essentially. And this kind of extends later on when she does discover where he lives, to go out of her way to get up earlier in order to actually walk with him to school. Yes, stealing some of her sister's beauty stuff just to kind of brighten herself up. It's super cute in that regard. So my thoughts on Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. I will straight out say, yes, this is pretty much Teasing Master Takagi-san. And that's not a bad thing. I really love Takagi-san. And it almost feels like this studio is pretty much mimicking that formula because, I mean, all the shots and everything, and maybe it's in the manga as well, all the shots, the girl sitting in the desk right next to you, looking over with the head tilted down, like all these shots look like they're completely ripped out of Takagi-san. And again, like I said, that's not a bad thing. I really love that series, and I'm sort of getting the same flavor here. But again, the key difference here is that it's not that Takagi-san is malicious, but it's almost like it's pushing it. Like it's very immature puppy love, nagging at each other. Whereas this one feels a lot more laid back, it feels a lot more casual and natural, it feels a lot more heartwarming in these interactions. It seems very clear that Kubo really likes this boy. And she's going out of her way just to interact with him. But it's not like a pay attention to me, grabbing him and shaking him and doing things that make him embarrassed. With Nishikata, he literally becomes combative. Whereas this one, she's like, okay, she's here. She's doing these things. Yes, she's beautiful. Yes, she's attractive. Yes, she smells good because she sat on my lap for some reason. There's a point where she literally goes, well, if you're invisible, I wonder if I sit on your lap, I'll become invisible and nobody will notice. And so she literally sits on his lap and I'm like, girl, no, don't do that. This is good. This is going in some very inappropriate territory here. She's super cute and I really do like that wholesome nature of Kubo so far. Now, granted, we still haven't got to the point where it's going to tell us why she cares so much about this guy. Honestly, he has no redeeming value so far. I mean, he literally just sits around and does nothing. So far, Shiraishi is the weakest part about the show. And yeah, granted, we've only had 2 episodes. There's nothing special about him so far, besides the fact that he is invisible to everybody. It's not like we get an indication of him being nice about things, that he does things good, that he's chivalrous, that he has a hobby that she's caught attention to. We don't know quite yet why Kubo even likes this dude, because he's a blank slate. He's a very blank character so far. He's very emotionless. He just sits there. And again, he just goes about his day being invisible. He doesn't interact with people. He doesn't talk to people. So the question mark's going to be, why is this girl like dead set on him? Is it because he's attractive? It can't be an aspect of him not interacting with her like some shows where the beauty of the school has so much attention that they like the one person that doesn't give them attention. So I'll be curious to see how they explain why she's so obsessed with him, other than maybe the fact that she just likes the idea that he's disconnected, or she feels pity for him. I don't know. It sort of like really early on gave me the indication that she was pitying him, and that's why she was trying to make him noticed. So that's the running joke is, okay, well, let's do something to see if it gets you attention. So when it comes down to is essentially this series so far is 2 parts. One is Kubo trying to get him to be noticed by other people by doing experiments, essentially, using her cuteness and asking him, politely if he'll do something. He ends up doing it. And the other half of it is how gorgeous Kubo is. Like, literally, this show is already trying to sell her very, very hard. I mean, literally, the opening segment has her in a kitty cow outfit. It has her in, like, a nurse outfit, a Santa Claus outfit, and yes, even a Virgin Slayer outfit. The I think it's called a Virgin Slayer. It's the sweater that has the back open. Yeah, she's wearing that. This show is trying to really, really sell people on her appeal. Which, yes, it's kind of interesting that that's the direction they're going with this. And yes, for that aspect, it's doing very good. Again, Kubo is absolutely adorable. I think she's super attractive. They're nailing her aesthetic. She looks beautiful. She's heartwarming. She's super nice. Again, she's not super vicious about her teasing. This isn't Nagatoro. This isn't Takagi-san. Again, it looks like Takagi-san, but it's not Teasing Girl. But the problem that I'm so far getting with this show is that half of the shtick is trying to get him to be appeared. He's the invisible boy. And that part is already boring, sadly. I've never really cared much for the I'm invisible to everybody joke. And the show is literally half of it is the I'm invisible joke. And it's not really doing much with that that's funny. The only laugh I got out of it was him standing up on his desk. And other than that, it's pretty much been, oh, so now he's going to answer a question on the chalkboard. Okay, that's funny, I guess. The constant, there's wanted posters out to try to find this missing person, and people going, oh my gosh, I was surprised that he has a perfect attendance because I've never seen him. He's this mystery of the school itself. That stuff has already gotten boring. So all I'm really left with is that Kubo's really attractive, which, yes, she is. But anyways, we'll see how it goes from here. If it will just turn into weekly Kubo is attractive, or if it's going to turn into a funny little shtick between these 2 characters. But so far, again, like I said, Shiraishi is boring. He's just a very boring character, and I'll be very curious to see why Kubo loves him so much. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. Hopefully I didn't talk about Takagi-san too much, but it's a great comparison. If you like this video, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know what's thought of this series if you're going to be checking it out. Additionally, if you're new to this channel, make sure that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I greatly appreciate everybody that supports the channel. Special thanks to Martin H out there who just became a Patreon supporter last month. I greatly appreciate it, and y'all take care.